archetype of the sexual priestess is re-emerging with a significant power in our modern day. An archetype is a primitive, universal image, a sort of archaic pattern that's inherited from our earliest human ancestors. Embodied archetypes can have different manifestations, but will have the same recurring themes and repeating patterns of both thought and action that reappear time and again across people and countries and continents. Archetypes are part of our collective unconscious, and they show up as recurrent symbols and motifs in literature, in art, and mythology. When an archetype is constellated or activated, the release of specific energy is recognized by the human psyche and consciousness. It's felt viscerally in the body and also experienced through the emotions. The archetype of the sexual priestess is reawakening after being dormant for quite some time. The loss of an archetype is devastating to a culture, to the human psyche. It's like losing a part of ourselves. Part of our instincts goes to sleep, and it gives rise to this sense of disharmony and this really uncomfortable discontent, even the sense of oppression within our bodies and our souls and our culture. Sexual priestess is an embodiment of love, pure and simple love. She's erotic love, she's maternal love, she's spiritual love. She is love. She's a woman who has full ownership over her body and her sexuality. She is at home with her sensual animal instincts. She engages her body as a vessel to channel Source's love. She's at one with her intuition. She knows intimately the elements around her, the rhythms of nature and the cycles and the seasons of the earth, and she celebrates them. She knows darkness and her shadow. She is a full expression of the sacred body and sensual spirit at one with the source of love. Archetypes seek actualization within the context of an individual's environment, meaning this constellation of sexual priestess energies, it wants to be embodied and experienced on an individual level right now. Like, how could she show up right now in our culture? We don't need to go back and try to recreate these, ancient sexual healing temples, but rather look to our environment and also our community's immediate needs as well as our own. How can the sexual priestess show up and be embodied and served at this current time on the planet? When the archetype of the sexual priestess is constellated, we become embodiments of love, of beauty, of sexual passion, of healing, of hope, and spiritual purpose. Women. How I've seen the sexual priestess awaken on the planet is in my sessions with women. We'll have just completed a sensual bathing ceremony or a yoni steam or a sensual bodywork ceremony, and they'll be laid out on the table and their hair is behind them flowing, and they're beaming with this radiant life force energy, and they're so in touch with their pleasure. And they'll look at me and they'll say, I feel like I've known you my whole life. I feel like I've felt and experienced and embodied my sexuality fully for the first time. I feel like I know what it means to be a temple priestess. I know what it means to be a sexual priestess. I know what it means to actually experience the pleasure of the goddess. She is part of this archaic memory, this intuitive knowing that just comes up, and when you embody her, you know that you're embodying her. She just is. She's been with you all along.